Hey friends, Hattie here with Honeybee Stampers. I am live for day 2 of our Christmas in July craft along. I hope you guys are all having a great night. I am actually in an currently air conditioned room. I'm in my craft office. If you caught me yesterday for our first craft along day, you knew that our air conditioner was out upstairs, so I was sweating. Today it's on. We'll see how long that lasts. But anyways, thank you for joining me today, you guys. I've got these 2 adorable projects to share. This is a fun fold. I've actually never done a fun fold this way, where I had this open up this way. I'm like trying to think back and I can't think of any. So I really love this. And then this adorable little box. So my friend Erica designed these 2 projects and I'll be putting them together from start to finish with you guys. If you grabbed the tutorial, then you have the directions on how to put that together. This is the tutorial right here, several pages of projects. So this is free this week if you place a minimum of a $50 order. And starting tomorrow, we're going to have a free shipping for 3 days. So if you do an order of $75 or more, you'll get free shipping from my online store, and you'll get this tutorial bundle for free. So that's really exciting. If you purchase the kit from me, then you will have received a kit that looks like this, and it's got all the goodies. I kind of went over everything that's included yesterday, so you have to go back and watch that if you missed it. I do have 3 of these kits left if you're interested in it. This also came with the tutorial emailed to you. All right, yesterday's projects. Let me just show a real quick recap. So my friend Rhonda designed these 2 projects yesterday. This is a cute little box. Oh, I forgot to tuck that in. It's supposed to tuck on the inside, but this is just an adorable little box here that we created yesterday, and then another fun fold. So that was yesterday's projects. Now we're on to today's projects. So exciting. All right, let me move this out of the way. And we'll get started. I think we'll start with the card first, and then we'll move into the box, okay? I'm going to explain to you all the cutting, and then we'll do all the stamping, and then we'll assemble. So here is the tutorial that you would get. You would get the supplies that you need. You're gonna get a page with measurements and some pictures, and then step-by-step directions. All right, let's get started. So this fun fold card has a card base that is Misty Moonlight. I really love that she used these colors because they're unique to Christmas, right? Christmas is usually, in my opinion, golds and silvers, reds and greens, but she went with this blue, which I think is perfect for this card. All right, so you're going to get in your kit a piece of Misty Moonlight cardstock that measures 8.5 by 11. That's all of the cardstock pieces pretty much are that measurement, and then you're going to have to cut it down. So you're going to want to cut this down to 5.5 by 8.5. So I'm just going to, you're going to need a paper trimmer, and ours is amazing. So if you don't have our paper trimmer, make sure you add that to your wish list when we have the free shipping. So that starts tomorrow. Okay, so we're at 5.5 here. So just cut that right in half essentially. Now we've got 5.5 by 8.5, and we're going to turn it this way, landscape. And we're going to do some scoring to create that fun fold. So you're going to want to place this left edge here at the 2 1/8 inch mark. So slide it right there. Make sure you don't use your cutting blade. Oh no, I don't know where my scoring tool is. Hold on a second. Luckily, I have an extra one, and I will grab this one. Okay, so for our scoring and cutting our paper trimmer, you've got a little entry point right here that you can place the blades in, and then they slide back and forth. Okay, let's get back to this. Now we're gonna line it up at 2 1/8, and you're gonna just score it right there. You're gonna slide it to the left here, and you're gonna go to 4 4. That's the typical score line if you were just wanting to score it in half. So there is our card base. Now let's see what other, we're gonna need to cut some designer series paper. So the designer series paper that she's using for this is the Country Woods DSP. So if you got the kit, you're gonna get 2 packs of paper, the Country Woods, and then, what is the other one called? Something about, oh, I'm drawing a blank. It's called need for tweed, okay? So for this card, we're doing Country Woods. So this is the designer series paper that she used, so you can kind of get an idea of what that looks like. And it's kind of has like a shiplap pattern. I'm gonna put it in my paper trimmer this way so that I can have these lines going all the way down, okay? And we're just gonna cut it here at 2 inches. And then we'll rotate it, and we're going to cut it at 5 3/8 of an inch. So 5 1 2 3/8 of an inch. I'm gonna kind of work through these projects today, and then I will kind of check out comments at the end. So if somebody is putting their projects together, I'm not interrupting them with all my comments. So feel free to say hi, let me know that you're watching, and I will definitely touch base with you guys towards the end. Okay, so now that we've cut that DSP, we're gonna need another Country Woods DSP. This time we're going to need a different pattern. So this is the other pattern. You guys will get the designer series paper, half a pack of it, so you'll have plenty to use. And for this measurement, it's gonna be 4 inches. This one's already cut at 4 inches, and then by 5 1/4. So cut that, okay, perfect. Right, and then you're gonna need one more Country Woods DSP, and it is still gonna be this blue color here. Let me see if I have any scraps, I don't. So this is gonna be cut at half an inch. The measurements in the tutorial say 3 inches, but we'll just cut it at half an inch and then we'll trim it again when we're putting the project together. Okay, so that's what we need there. Now we need some basic white for this. And if I'm going too fast for you guys, just pause me, especially when you get the recording, just hit pause, rewind, that kind of thing, so that you be able to put your projects together. Okay, so let's see here. Now we're gonna go with the basic white cardstock. The measurements are 6 inches by 4 1/2, okay? So we'll do, let me make sure that's gonna be enough. Yep, so this will be 6 inches right here. I love that there's just like this little barrier right here. So, and it's exactly at 6 inches, makes it easy. And then we're gonna turn it and we're going to cut it down to 4 1/2. You guys, again, like I said, will have full sheets of cardstock that you'll be cutting from. All right, and then this piece actually needs to be scored. So we're gonna put this in here, landscape again. So we're going to line it up at the 3 inch mark and we're gonna score it. There we go. Do we have all of our paper pieces? Pretty much, except for you're gonna need a jar lid that is going to be in the in this blue color. Let me see here. I thought I had some scrap, and I do. Here it is. So we're gonna take our jar punch. As you guys know, this is the punch that we're using. Jar of Joy is the stamp set, and then it coordinates with this punch. And just pop that out. I don't know if you guys caught me yesterday, but I kind of, when I punched this yesterday, I didn't give it as much force, and so it had just a little bit of like remnants there that I had to trim off. But if you punch it with some great force, then it's a kind of a nicer, cleaner cut. All right, so there's that. There are all our pieces that we're gonna need for the card, and then we're gonna start doing some stamping. Let me show this to you guys. We'll do some stamping and then assembling, okay? And like I said, go ahead and comment and let me know where you're watching from. Say hi. Like I see Joan. Thank you, Joan. It's good to see you again. And then I'll come back on at the end and kind of look at comments, okay? All right, so now we're gonna need some scrap white paper. Oh, one of the other things that we need for this is you're gonna need a rectangle that's using the Textured Notes dies. And if you got the kit, we already cut these out for you so that you didn't have to worry about it. But if you don't have it, you can just kind of cut like this layer out of basic white, okay? If you're doing this at home and you don't have those dies. But they're great dies to have, okay? So we're gonna need that as well. All right, now we need some scrap white cardstock. Let me see here. Okay. And we're going to stamp our little jar. We're going to use Memento black ink for this. So we'll just ink this up. Get my foam stamping mat. Ink up the jar in Memento black ink. I'm just going to stamp right here. Okay, and then we're going to need some of the sprigs as well. Let's see. Well, I'll save this for my other jar because we're going to make 2 jars today. So I've got some extra scraps here. I'll just do my 2 sprigs here, and they're also going to be in Memento black ink. So one there and one there. We're going to color those in. Now for this one, we're going to need the little snowman. We used him yesterday. We're going to use him again today. He's very adorable. And we are going to stamp this also in Memento black ink. Right there. Looks great. And then we've got a little scarf. This time we're going to stamp his scarf in Misty Moonlight to coordinate with the card base. So you've got a little piece that goes on the hat, and you just kind of line it up best you can. Oh, it looks good. I'm always like, did I line it up right? But it just makes it so easy. Okay, so you've got his little scarf on him. Let's get some pumpkin pie. I used Timid Tiger yesterday, but I grabbed some pumpkin pie to color his nose. Put that little color on that carrot nose. And then we're going to take, there's some little snowflake dots that come in the stamp set. We'll stamp that a couple times in the jar with him. Okay, just like that. So cute. Is that all the stamping? Oh, nope, we got one more stamping thing to do. So we're going to take our cherry cobbler, and I had to doctor this ink pad up. I'll have to tell you guys some tips on the cherry cobbler ink if you guys have any, if you ever have issues with it, because sometimes I do. Those darker pigmented inks can, what would you call it? They kind of like the ink thickens up, and sometimes it even crystallizes. It's really weird. It does a weird thing on the ink pads, and it's just because of the formulation of it. But what I've found that helps is if I use a spoon, so just a plastic spoon, and what I do is I scrape very lightly off of the top of the ink pad, and then it'll be like this really thick, gunky ink, and then I just re-ink it with some re-inker, and then smooth out, I wipe off the gunk off the spoon, and then I smooth out the new ink on there, and then it works perfectly. But I have to do that periodically with like our Early Espresso ink, our Cherry Cobbler, our Mossy Meadow. So some of those darker inks do that. It drives me nuts, but that is my solution for that. So if you guys have any tips like that, definitely share them in the comment section. So now we've got this Merry Christmas. This Merry Christmas is actually 2 different stamps, and it comes from, oopsie, the Jolly Holly stamp set. So it's these 2 stamps right here, and I just kind of put them together on top of, together on one ink, I can't talk today, on one block, one stamping block to make my sentiment. Okay, so we're going to ink it up with Cherry Cobbler ink, and then on this die cut here, we're just going to kind of stamp down towards the bottom a little Merry Christmas. There we go. All right, so now I think our stamping is done. We just got a little bit of coloring to do and a little bit of die cutting and punching. So for these sprigs, we're going to color it with our Mossy Meadow, not our Mossy Meadow, with our Old Olive. So on my sample, I used the dark Old Olive ink Stampin' Blends, but for this one, I'm going to go ahead and color with the light and just see if it makes a difference. So you just color these in, very easy to color. I love our alcohol markers. They are wonderful. You can color any image, and it's like, you can even do it kind of sloppy and it still looks good. The colors bleed together really well, or blend together, I should say, and it doesn't leave all those streaks that you would get if you were using just like our Stampin' Right markers. So, oopsie, went outside the line there. But we're going to die cut out these little sprigs. So there's that. All right, let me bring my die cutting machine in. Oopsie. Sorry, I'm making lots of noise tonight. Okay, so here's our die cutting machine. With the free shipping, this would be a great time to get the die cutting machine for sure. We're gonna need our sprig dies. So these are the dies that coordinate. You guys probably saw them in the other video yesterday. We'll just grab out this one and run this through. So you can use some like Post-it note tape or washi tape or something like that to hold the die in place. But what I find works best for me, if it's focused here, is if I just kind of put the end of my top cutting plate in, and then I press down and I hold it really tight, and it kind of holds it in place, and then I can run it through the machine. I think that my camera's a little bit blurry right now, but it should straighten out in a little bit. All right, so we've got 2 of them we're gonna need. We're gonna go ahead and run the other one through. You could also like just fussy cut this out, but I really love when we have coordinating dies. Makes my life easier. And I was talking with my friend Susan about how we like the beveled edge that die cutting provides. Uh-oh. Just put that in crooked. Okay, that's not exactly lined up, but that's good enough. You guys get it. Okay, we'll pull that off. Put that back. So I got these magnet boards, and it's super cute with that pretty design on the back. These are from Stampin' Storage, and I have the black ones, and I'm gonna have to just give a little critique here that I like the black ones better, because this one, it's like it's got the white covering on it. It just doesn't hold the magnets as well as the black ones do. So if you shop at Stampin' Storage like I do, just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. I definitely like the idea of the different color, but yeah, not real thrilled with how it's holding my dies. Okay, so now we've got all our pieces. Let's assemble. This is the fun part. First, start by punching this out. I'm really loving the blue accents on this snowman. Okay. We're gonna start with the card base. So we're just gonna fold it in half this way. Grab my bone folder. And then fold it back this way. Okay, so that's gonna be the fun fold there. We are going to adhere this designer series paper to the inside panel. That's the other side of it. That's really pretty. I almost don't want to put that one down, but so pretty. And I did see that this designer series paper, which is called Country Woods, it's actually on low inventory. So if you're shopping on my online store and you're gonna want to get this paper, you're gonna want to order it soon. Hopefully it'll still be available tomorrow during free shipping, because that's when I'll be getting another pack. Okay, so now we're gonna add this shiplap piece to this front panel. Okay, you see how that works there. Just line this up. And then this right here, make a nice crease. So what I'm gonna do is add adhesive to the back, and I'll use liquid adhesive so I can kind of move it around if I need to. And then I'm just gonna center this on that inside panel. There we go. We are going to need our really pretty green ribbon. This is that Mossy Meadow and Gold ribbon. I don't think I've used a spool of ribbon as much as I have with these projects. And right now on my team page, I'm Stamper of the Month. And so I am featuring the Pear suite of products, which this is where this ribbon came from. And so I'm using it a lot on my projects for that. And then I'm using it for these projects, and it's just like really such a pretty ribbon. I'll be shocked if I have any of this ribbon left by the end of these 6 days and the end of the month for my Stamper of the Month. Okay, so there we go. And I'm just going to finagle this ribbon a little bit, make it pretty. Come on. All right, and then let's cut it off here. Yeah, good enough. It's a little bit twisted. Ah, that worked. We'll just do that for now. Okay, so you're gonna tie that ribbon around this piece right here. That's the front of the card. And so you'll see it folds in this way, and then this one comes over the top of it like that. If you wanted to move this ribbon down so it's a little bit more exposed, you could do that if you want to. You could also tack it down with some tear and tape or some glue dots. It's up to you, but we'll just leave it like that for right now. Now this piece right here, that's the die cut, and if you have the kit, get the kit from me, this die cut will be included. We'll add some dimensionals to the back of this one and pop it up onto the front of this card. I'll do one more. I even have like a little trash can. Where did I put my little trash can? Oh, it's back behind me. So that I don't have all of these dimensional backings just strewn all over my table. But I think that I'm not used to it. I'm used to just throwing them on the table. And so let me get this. Get this cute little trash can that I got from World Market. Isn't that cute? So this is what I have sitting on my desk that I can start putting scraps in. And when it works, when I use it, it works really well. Okay, so there's that. What are we doing next? Let's put on the front pieces. So we're gonna take, you remember this piece right here? This is gonna go on the front, and we just need to cut, she's angled one end of it. So we're just gonna cut like right here. And I don't think there has to be any real precision to that, but we're just gonna cut a little angle of it like that. And then I'm gonna add this to the card front. Right about there. Okay. And then we'll take our cute little jar. Let's add the adhesive to the top. Glue. It's gonna add a little strip of liquid glue. You know, when you're working with glue or any kind of adhesive, our silicone sheets are the absolute best. Nothing sticks to it. So you can use like a heat tool, not a heat tool, but like a hot glue gun with it. You can use adhesive, and then it just kind of comes off, so you don't have to worry about it being on your table. But yeah, and it doesn't stick to it. It's great. So then I can just kind of wash that off, wipe that off, let it dry, and then like rub it off, whatever. Okay, so we got our lid on there. Let's put some dimensionals on. Well, before we do that, let's put our sprigs on. So we've got two little sprigs, and I'm just going to add a little glue right here. And let's see, we've got this here, and then we're just gonna have one sticking out the top this way, and then the other one, I can pick it up, coming out of the top this way, okay? So that's a fun little element there. These videos only last for 30 days on my Facebook page. So if you want to continue to watch them, I highly recommend that you, and actually, let me see if I can move this down just a little bit. I highly recommend that you follow me over on YouTube. Honeybee Stampers is my YouTube channel. I would love to see you over there. I put videos up on that YouTube channel, and those last forever. Okay, I just wanted to move that down a little bit so I can see more of it. Now let's add this. I kind of wonder how that works. Like, Facebook obviously is probably just so inundated with videos, they need to delete some. So that's why they started this new policy where only like live videos only last for 30 days. But what about YouTube? Like, some of those videos are on there forever. How How are they able to maintain that? I guess that's my question. Uh-oh. I stuck it right down in the glue. Okay, so here is that first card. Now we're going to do some embellishments, some embellishing here. I'll have to fix this little bow a little bit better later, but you guys get the gist of it. The embellishments that we're going to use do come in your kit if you ordered a kit from me. And so these little embellishments down here, I believe, are supposed to be like a starry sky, but they work perfectly with this misty moonlight. So we'll stick one up here, and then let's do a little one down here. Maybe right there. Oh geez. I was bragging yesterday about this putty, and now it's like trying to stick. Okay, let me pull that off. I'll fix that later. The putty does really work, I promise. It's really great to be able to pick up the embellishments like that. I promise. User error over here. Okay, so we've got 3 here. I think I did 5 on the original, yep. So you can do, you know, your embellishments in groupings of 3 or 5. I think that that is the best as far as balance goes. So here's the first card, an adorable little fun fold. Never done it this way before, so I really liked being able to do that. That's the fun thing about this craft along that I'm doing with my friends, is that you get to see other people's design work and other people's techniques and stuff like that, and it's just great. It's great for all of our customers to be able to get some fresh new ideas. All right, let's set that to the side and let's get started on this box. I love this box. So for this craft along, we've got 12 projects. 2 of them are boxes, so I'm doing the first 2 boxes yesterday and today, and then the rest of them are going to be cards, okay, Christmas cards. But this is so cute. So my friend Erica designed this, and she is like the queen of little boxes, and so this did not disappoint. And I love Rhonda's too. This is so clever. They just do the cutest little boxes. Okay, let's get all the supplies for this one. You guys are gonna need a piece of old olive cardstock, okay? Or if you're watching this and you're making your own thing, like Joan mentioned yesterday, she was gonna turn that Christmas box that I did yesterday into a Halloween box, which I saw that Lisa challenged her to see that when she gets done with it, and I'd like to see it too, because I love to see what people come up with. You could totally use whatever color paper you want, but I'm just going off of the directions that were designed. All right, let me grab the new directions, because the new directions not only have the pictures, but it's also going to have like a little template that we're going to work off of. Okay. So, old olive cardstock, and we're going to cut it down to 7 by 7, so a nice 7-inch square. And then rotate it. And there we go. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna score. We're gonna start with scoring on this side. Well, it doesn't matter which side, but we'll start with this one. It's gonna be scored at 1 inch. And we're gonna slide it down to 2 inches. And then down to 4 inches. And then again at 5 inches. Okay. Then you're going to rotate it, and we're going to score this side at 1 inch. Ooh, almost grabbed my cutter. 1 inch, and then slide it on down to 6 inches. Okay, so there is the start of our box. Now we're going to just fold and burnish on all of the score lines. I remember watching a video a long time ago. I mean, gosh, could have been even like 10 plus years ago, where Erica was teaching people how she comes up with her boxes, and it was just like, it was very scientific in my opinion. Like she had grid paper and she would place whatever item it is that she was wanting to create a box for on the grid paper, and then she would make her measurements around it. I mean, it was very, 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 like, you have to have a special kind of brain for that. All right, so what we're gonna do, you'll see that there's a larger, thicker side here, and then there's this shorter side here. This is gonna be our lid. So this is gonna make this lid right here of the box. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut off these squares so that we can know that that's the lid, the flap for the lid. Okay, so we're just gonna trim. Ah, look at me, I'm using my trash can. I just gotta rewire my brain to do that. Okay. And then like that. Okay, now that we've done that, we're going to cut up all of these score lines here, right up to the score line here, okay, and not past it. So let's just go ahead and do that. Cut. So as I'm doing this, I'll just tell you guys. So yesterday, you know, like I said, our air conditioner was out. And so today we had the HVAC guys come out, and they found, or they presumed that there's a leak somewhere. And so they put some kind of solution into the air conditioner to be able to, one, make it work, and then two, be able to, like, radio frequency die or something crazy like that, to be able to see where the leak is. And so they'll be back in a couple days. However, and before I keep going, let me tell you guys, now that we've done that, we've cut that up, we are going to just miter these little squares here, so that when we put the box together, it's easier to put together, okay? So mitering, as I mentioned yesterday, is just, you know, trimming off at an angle to make it easier for us. So anyways, they came over today, and where my craft room is located, it's on the second floor. It's a very tiny room on the second floor, but it's like, it really is perfect. I love it. But the darn attic, like the access to the attic is in this room. Usually, you know, you find those in the hallway, and why it's not in the hallway, I have no idea. But it is in this room right above my craft table where I'm crafting right now. And so whenever my husband or anybody needs to access the attic, they have to move my table. Everything's got to be tossed to the side. They got to go up there. And then when it's all said and done, I come back into my craft room, and there is pink insulation just sprinkled everywhere. And then the worst part is there's always like bugs. So it never fails. Every single time there is a spider that I'm just crafting away, minding my own business, and a spider comes dangling down from the ceiling, and I know it's coming from that little access point, and it just, drives me nuts. I don't know why they did that with this house, but I'd love to get that fixed. Okay, anyways. So now we've done that. That's our box. Let me get back to getting focused. Now to put the box together, we're going to add some glue to these two little tabs right here. So I'm going to use some liquid glue. Okay, here and here. And then again, this is our flap for our lid. So this is the opposite end. We're just going to bring this up, okay, and line that up nicely and pinch it and hold it. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So just line that up nicely there and pinch and hold. Okay, and then we're going to bring these two pieces, and we're going to do the same thing. Add some glue. Do some glue right there. A little glue right there. Okay, and we're going to bring this up, and it should line up beautifully, and it does. This is the cutest little box. And then same over here. So I've been selling cards and little Cersei gifts and stuff like that at a bookstore here in town where I live, and I definitely need to add these to my rack to sell. Okay, so now here's the box. Isn't that so stinking cute? And then we're just gonna trim. We'll cut these little flaps right here off, just right in half. That'll make it easier to close the box, okay? You could tuck them in if you wanted to, but let's see if it'll close. Okay, yep. And there we go, isn't that so cute? All right, so we've put our box together and we're just gonna set that to the side. Let's go ahead and cut the rest of our stuff to decorate it with. So you're gonna need the Need for Tweed Designer Series paper. So this is the pattern that you're gonna use for that. And we're gonna use this side right here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut this down. Let's see here. I'm gonna cut it this way. Yeah, okay. So we're gonna cut it down at 1 7/8. So 1 7/8 right there. Okay, and then we're gonna cut another piece at just 7/8. Okay, and I'm gonna pay attention to how I'm trimming this because I want it to line up when I put it on the box. So we're gonna turn it this way, and this needs to be 4 7/8. So we'll just line this up at 4 7/8. Okay, so I'm gonna wanna cut the same on this one, 4 7/8. Okay, so now I know the pattern will kind of continue and flow together. That's not something that is a necessity. I just kind of like the way that that looks. All right, so we've done those pieces. Now we do have to die cut. We need to die cut this cherry cobbler piece, and we're gonna be using the dies. We're gonna use the largest die for this one. And I gotta see where I put them, yep. So here are the dies again that coordinate. We're gonna use the largest die. So this one right here, and some scrap cherry cobbler cardstock. So we'll use this here. The reason this isn't included in your kit is because you're gonna need the bundle anyway. So that's why we kind of did it. The paper's included, but not the die cut. All right, and you have the die cut with your bundle. Now we're also going to need this little holly. So let's stamp this holly on some scrap paper. And we're gonna use Memento black ink. And I'm just gonna stamp it right there, okay? Let me trim this out because we don't need all this excess on here. All right. Alrighty, so there's that. We're gonna need to die cut that. Let's color this. So we're gonna need our old olive. So I've got a dark and a light old olive. We're gonna switch up the way I color the holly this time. So we're gonna do the dark old olive right in the middle. Okay. Now our Stampin' Blends do bleed. So they will bleed quite a bit through onto the back side. So when you're coloring with them, make sure you're careful with what's underneath. I mean, my table is black, and so that doesn't really matter. And now I'm gonna use the light old olive. Okay, there's one. I had to decide which I like better. All right, so there's this side. Oh goodness, coloring outside the lines like crazy. I was going over coloring today with my little guy, and we were just practicing writing and doing sight words and coloring today. It's so cute. It's just so cute. Okay, and then this is cherry cobbler that I'm coloring the berries in with. So you guys can see that I flip-flopped. I did the lighter for the larger portion of the holly berry, and then the darker in the middle, and I did it opposite on this one. So you guys will have to tell me which one you like better. Okay, so let's get our die cutting machine out again. We'll die cut these. Okay, so for this craft along, we kind of all agreed that we would be showing the projects from start to finish as if, you know, you guys were doing every step with us. But you guys will have to tell me. That's not usually how I do my videos. I usually have things already cut and prepped. Do you guys like that, prefer that, or do you like seeing the process of actually die cutting and embossing all of this stuff? Aside from the loud noise and shaking the table, do you guys like that or what? Let me know. All right, so then we've got this one, and there is, of course, a die for this. You can always fussy cut, but this is better. All right, so we're gonna just line that up. Come on. There we go. I'm really slow. I feel slow with like doing all the die cutting when I'm on video. I think that's it as far as die cutting goes. Okay, throw that in my trash can. I'm so proud of myself. Now, for this, we are going to heat emboss. I love heat embossing. So we're gonna add a little bit of powder. This is that anti-static powder. We've got our Versamark, which is the sticky ink that we need. We are going to grab our sentiment, which this sentiment is so interesting to me because the Christmas like swoops up. And I guess it's because it needs, like they designed it to fit in the jar. But I don't know why that Christmas like bugs me that it's swooped up at the end. Either that's how it was designed or I have like stretched it and messed it up somehow. All right, we're gonna stamp this right in the middle. And then you wanna get your embossing powder ready right away so that you can pick up as much of it as you can while the ink is still wet, okay? So I just shimmy and shake in there. Close that. There we go. Love that. And then heat this up real quick. And there's just a little, what did I do with it? Okay, so another tip with your take your pick tool, you can use the putty to kind of pull away any excess embossing powder that you don't want. So there. I'm being particular about this. I don't need to be, but I just wanted to show you guys that little tip. Okay, so let's flick off the excess and look at, I picked up more. I picked up more embossing powder trying to show you a tip. But like I said, you're just gonna take the putty or even this end and just kind of wipe away that excess, okay? There is, we have an embossing kit where it has tweezers, the reverse tweezers. It also has a little brush that you can use to brush off any excess embossing powder that you don't want. So there's also that. All right, so I know it's all done. There we go. I say this all the time. Heat embossing is like one of the things that hooked me onto stamping. I just love it. So that's done. So we've got these pieces, we've got this, we've got that. Now let's stamp our little jar with these cute little gingerbread and cookies and stuff. I actually myself, I don't think I'm a fan of gingerbread. I don't know. I don't think I am. I feel like I remember when I was growing up, my mom used to work at a daycare for one of the girls I went to high school with. And they used to give gingerbread, like the gingerbread windmill cookies or whatever. I did like those. But now that I'm older, I don't think I like gingerbread that much. Maybe I gotta try it again, but I don't think I do. All right, so here's this. We're gonna do another jar, and we're gonna do it again in the Memento black ink. But you guys know what windmill cookies I'm talking about, and it even has like almond slivers in it, like those. I haven't had those in a long time, but I'm pretty sure those were good. Okay, now we're going to use pecan pie as our ink, and we're going to ink up the outline of these little cookies, and we're going to stamp them inside of the jar. Isn't that sweet? I just think it's so cute. Okay, now for this part, we need to stamp off. Okay, here's my scrap paper. So we're gonna ink up, this is the filler for the cookies, and we're just gonna stamp off once, and then I like to try to line up the gingerbread bow tie and the dots. And I find that when I do that, the dots on his tummy or on his chest, buttons or whatever those things are, when I line that up, I feel like everything else kind of lines up in place as well. At least that's how it's been for me. All right, then we're also going to need a lid. So let's stamp this lid right here. And I'm gonna flip it this way because I'm gonna punch it. So we're gonna just stamp right here. Okay, great. Let's punch this side out and we'll come back and color that. See? Okay, so you're gonna feed this in. Okay, there we go. And the reason I didn't like just stamp the lid and then punch it all out together because I don't have it lined up that way. There is a little trick that you can do to do that, but I didn't do it. So it's easier to do it this way. We're gonna use the Cherry Cobbler Stampin' Blends to color in the lid. You can tell I'm concentrating because when I'm coloring or fussy cutting, it's like I can't talk. Okay. And then we'll line this one up. There we go. Throw that in the trash. Let's go ahead and I'm going to add this lid on with my silicone mat again, because if I use that scrap paper, what happens inevitably is that some glue gets on the scrap paper, and then when I go to work with another project over there, it's sticking to the paper and it's a mess. So I'm gonna use my silicone mat, and I think they're only like $5. So if you don't have this mat, definitely add it to your wish list. And starting tomorrow, you're gonna get free shipping over $75, so don't miss out on that opportunity. I'm gonna stock up on cardstock. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get cardstock and some adhesives too. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna add this to our label here with some Stampin' Dimensionals. Right there. Okay. When I get done with this box, I'll definitely check out the comments. So leave a comment for me. Let me know where you're watching from. I'd love to hear from you. And be sure to follow me on Facebook. You can hit the little follow button. And then also, subscribe to my YouTube channel. That'll be awesome. Okay, so I'm almost to 2,000, I think, on my YouTube channel. So I'm excited about that. I'd love to see that number. All right, we're gonna add these, and remember, I kind of wanted it to line up nicely, so we're just gonna use some liquid adhesive for this as well. With the cards that I designed, I used this red pattern right here, so you guys will see that. Tomorrow I'll be putting together 2 projects designed by my friend Ange from Canada. I think she goes live every single day. You guys have to check her out, Ange McKay. She goes live like every day, I believe. And she is adorable. So I'll be putting 2 of her projects together tomorrow. And then I'll do my friend Jen's projects the next day. And then mine, and then my girl Michelle's. So such a fun, I'm so glad Rhonda put this together because this is such a fun little event. Okay. Now we're going to place this piece on. You also could have adhered this designer series paper on before you put all the box together, before you folded it all up. Absolutely could have done that. Okay, so there's that. Isn't it cute? You see how it kind of flows together? Oh, I love this box. It's so cute. All right, and then this is gonna go on here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna attach this to the bottom of the box with Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'm gonna put one down here, here. Let's put, I hope I'm still on the screen, put one here. And then I'm gonna close the box down and I'm gonna put a couple up here, there. And then one right there. Okay, now that I've done that, all right, great, great, great. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the ribbon on. So let's grab our beautiful green ribbon. So in love with this ribbon. I want the sparkly gold to kind of show a little bit more. So we'll put that out there because you can see it's like one side is a little bit more gold in color and the other side's a little bit more green. Okay, there's that. All right, I'm gonna pull it tight and then we will tie our pretty little bow. I hope I'll have ribbon left over for the rest of my projects because I am, well, there's plenty in there. Yeah, I think I'm good. Okay. Come on. Okay, let me not mess with that too much more. Let's cut this ribbon down. Okay, so I got an extra big bow on here. Okay, let's pop these off of here. Great, great, great. It was really fun to see everybody's projects come together because Rhonda kind of gave us guidance as far as like which bundles we were going to use and what product, and then everybody just kind of designed their own thing. And I loved seeing how, you know, all of the stamps were used, you know, across the 12 projects, you know, at one point or another. So it's just fun to see what people come up with. So I feel like we worked really well together on that, even though we weren't working together on it, if that makes sense. All right, so, and then you see the projects come through. Let's add this on with some dimensionals right there. You see the projects come through, but you don't realize how cute they really are until you put them together. So cute. And I put this right here. What a fun little box. Okay, am I missing anything? I don't think so. Let me bring in the other two cards again, and then I'll get a chance to look at comments. So here's that fun fold that we started with. If you missed it, you can go back and watch the recording. Like I said, I'm going to be uploading these to YouTube as well. You can purchase the tutorial. So we've got, I heard, I have it all printed off, but it's like a 30-some page tutorial with all the projects on here with the measurements and everything like that. You can purchase it for $25, or if you place an order with me in my online store for $50 or more, I will send the tutorial to you for free. And then lastly, I've got 3 of these kits to put the projects that we have that include that pretty ribbon, a little Cersei, cute little box. I kind of went over this whole package yesterday, so you can go back and watch that video, the embellishments and everything. I do have 3 of these left. So if you're interested in that, definitely click on the link and you can place your order. Okay, so let's see here. Let me see. I hope I've been in the right place this whole time. I didn't check. Uh-oh. I don't see myself. Am I live on my like personal page? Let me try to refresh this again. Okay, there I am. Whew. That always scares me. I'm going to go in and add the links in a minute, but hi, Pam. Ooh, Pam says she likes ginger dressing, but nothing else with ginger, with gingerbread, ginger snaps, or ginger. I like ginger dressing too. I love that when I go to like a Japanese restaurant and I do love that. Forgot about that. Hi, Sue. Oh, good. I feel like when I have the tutorial, Sue's mentioning that, you know, watching the whole process allows her to kind of know like how long it's actually going to take her to put the projects together. Because when we prep stuff ahead of time, you like don't know, you know, how long did it take her to die cut all that. So that's really good to get that feedback. I also find that the videos are really helpful too. So if you get a tutorial, it's like, okay, you can follow the steps and you go step by step. And it's like, I have to like hyper focus on the steps of the project. When I see somebody do a video, it clicks for me. Hi, Shelly. Oh, Shelly, I know you love boxes. I know you love boxes, girl. You make the cutest things. But yeah, I love the boxes. I kind of wish we had more now because, you know, those are the 2 boxes for out of the 12 projects. The rest of them are going to be cards, but they are 2 very cute boxes. And imagine you can switch this up and design it for something else, you know, a little graduation box or like anything. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me again today. I will be back live tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on my page. Definitely give me a follow. Head over to my YouTube channel and follow me over there as well. Subscribe to that channel. That would be amazing. All right, hope you have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.